Of course, agriculture is a conversation that we can't but have as far as Nigeria is concerned. The Renewed Hope agenda at the federal level and the RISE agenda at the state level all focuses on agriculture and the need for us as a people to go back to those practices that made Nigeria a great nation in this past. Joining us this morning is the South-South Zonal Coordinator, Nigeria Agribusiness and Agro-Industry Development Initiative, NADI, of course, talking about Mr. Howard Hussein. Good morning and welcome to
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Also in the team that has graced the studio this morning is Dr. Owen Udo, okay, a financial and investment analyst. He's a proud son of a Kwabam State himself, a one-time publisher, CEO, Seamstress Integrated Limited. Good morning and welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Good having me here.
Okay, so we're going to start with the agency, NAADI. Let's start with you, the South-South Coordinator. A lot of us would be wondering what exactly is the mandate of the agency, what are your activities, and what are your focus?
Thank you so much. NADI was formed in 2010 by United Nations Industrial Development Organization to drive agriculture improvement, in the sense that Africa needs to change from the traditional practices. That the only way we can make money, the only way we can progress is for us to add value to what we produce. So it was developed as an African agribusiness initiative called 3ADI and was formally adopted by the African head of state in 2010. But it's domiciled in Nigeria as NADI, Nigeria Agribusiness and Agro-Industry Development Initiative, and it's resident in the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Abuja. Yes, the focus is to look at the commercial aspect of agriculture, because here we produce. The focus is, if you're doing cassava, you know that the value chain there is fufu and gari. That's what people really know. But there's more to cassava than just fufu and gari. You can make starch that is export, chips that is export, ethanol, flour, and so much. And you know that any country that does not add value to what it produces, when you export basic raw materials, you export jobs, you export productivity, you export prosperity, you export livelihood of your own people. The best we could do is to add value to what we produce. So NADI focus is to drive that sector. Yes.
So in driving the sector, when we hear that we have very engineering platforms just such as NADI in existence since 2010, we would want to have conversations to measure the impact so far, because we're looking at the fact that currently Nigeria still imports over 11 billion worth of agro commodities, when we were a country that was grossly known for agri exports in the 60s. How did we find ourselves here having to depend so much on agri importations, yet we have agencies such as yours doing great work?
Well, like I said before that when oil was discovered in Nigeria, the focus was oil. Oil could bring a lot of money. So agriculture was dropped, it was abandoned. It's, I think, in somewhere in 2019, before the death of Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations. He did a report. In that report, he showcased that Africa loses about $50 to $60 billion yearly for not processing what they produce. So that report culminated in a lot of papers, a lot of presentations. How do we overcome this problem? You see that if we take cocoa, maybe export a ton of cocoa, it could maybe $7,000. But that same tonnage, when value is added, return like $20 $30,000. So you can imagine, you pay so much for something that even comes from you. So NADI is trying, something that has been abandoned for a very long time. We at a point where among the top producers of oil palm, but because that sector was abandoned, we are trying to get back on track. Yes, we're trying to get back on track. So NADI was started in 2010. Even when it was formally declared in 2010, none of the offices was inaugurated until about 2018. Okay, so it will take time to be able to drive policy framework in that direction. It will take time for people to understand the value of agriculture. And another thing is this: people still see agriculture as something for the aged. People still see agriculture as a profession for the poor people, because we have this mindset that the picture of a farmer is a hoe, someone that carries a hoe and a bad t-shirt. Okay, people still have that perception. But how did America change that? They changed that when they established Future Farmers Association of America, so that the youths key into agriculture at a tender age and see agriculture as a profession that is noble, that's honorable. And you could see America, 3% is involved in agriculture, but that 3% can feed the entire world. Do you understand? So NADI is working. We've been engaging the private sector. We've been engaging government. Most of the donor agencies. We've been training people to look at the new ways of doing things. Maybe the new seeds that we need to look at, new method, new levels. So over time, I think we'll get there.
Well, that's a major journey. So we have an agribusiness roundtable that is coming, and doing agriculture on the one hand, just like Mr. Owen has talked about, doing it just to feed ourselves is one thing, but understanding the framework of agribusiness is another thing entirely. And it's good to see a financial expert in that, in that sector. So just talk to us a little bit about what agribusiness is about. How much of production do we need to be into as a people to consider it as a business?
Okay, thank you very much. When he did the introduction, he didn't say something about where I'm coming from.
You're an Akwa person. Yes, I mentioned that.
Yeah, I know. I'm the Executive Secretary, Uyo Chambers of Commerce, Industries, Mines, and Agriculture.
That's necessary.
So that's where you see me coming in to work with NADI. And like you said something about the production rates now. Yeah. And I like he has said it, the problem is not just the government alone, it's individual. Though the government policies also have something to play in this. Because when I had a brief stop over at Lokoja, here we produce, cassava is a staple food in Akwa Ibom here. But do you know that it's Lokoja, they are exporting cassava out of this country? So with this agribusiness, why we're here is like, we just want to come in to tell people that agric is not just going to the farm, cultivating and eating it. You can also do business with it. You can send it out, sell, make your money, exports. So that's why we're here for this agric, and that's why we're partnering with them, because we've seen that there's a possibility of agric turning into business. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, okay, sorry about that. The Akwa Ibom state government is big on some of these kinds of ventures. The Arise agenda has agriculture and agribusiness as part of the strongest things that they hope to do. Just recently, they had given about 12,000 bags of fertilizers and all of those things. One of my question I'm going to ask is, because that's something the federal government is also doing, giving fertilizers, is pushing the production of agri just about fertilizers? Because, I mean, we're talking about how much the federal government has spent from subsidy money. And they talk about, we're giving 12,000 bags of fertilizer. Is fertilizer, all we really need to push agribusiness in Nigeria forward?
Well, when the government does something, everybody thinks they are doing the right thing. But I'm not here to criticize what the government is doing. I appreciate what His Excellency is really doing in the state. But the question is, these fertilizers you're giving to these people, how many goes to the farm? Because there was a time the governor launched something in Uran. I think it was in Uran here. And the next thing, some people came out and were trying to sell fertilizers. Those same fertilizers were given free. So, is there a monitor? Is there somebody that monitors these sales of these fertilizers?
To farmers.
And secondly, is fertilizers supposed to be the main thing to give to farmers? In these modern days, we don't use fertilizers again.
As much?
Yes. Because if you use these local fertilizers we do here, you can and export your goods outside the country there, it might not sell for you. But there's this organic fertilizers, some of them are in liquid form. That's supposed to be used. And we have some people doing it in Rio here. The problem is, are they being noticed? That's just a question. That's why USIMA, as a Chamber of Commerce, we work with the private sector. We work with a lot of farmers, people in the agri sector. And these are the things we are trying to see how we can help out. Thank you so much.
Let's come to you, Mr. Howard. The roundtable, this is the third time that is happening, and it's happening in the city of Rio. We know that the federal government is big on agriculture, the state is big on agriculture. In fact, as a matter of urgency, everybody's talking about food sufficiency and food sustainability. So tell us a lot more about the program. What should we be expecting? What are the stakeholders you've invited, and what kinds of conversations are we going to have? What do you hope to achieve?
Thank you very much. But let me just say something about what he said about incentives given by the government to people. You know, government as an agency, organization, have a lot of programs to cushion the effect. But you know that the focus should be systems that are sustainable, okay? But some of these programs are interim process to support the people from where they are to the next level. Because for the government to put agriculture as number one, agri-revolution, I believe that government have good intentions. Yes, they have real good intentions. And then you can build these systems overnight. Supporting the farmers, the local farmers with some of the key inputs will drive some level of support in that area over time. Yes, but the government at a point needs to put sustainable systems in place. And coming to Agribusiness Roundtable Conference 2024, this is the third time we're doing this program, and the theme is unlocking agribusiness opportunities for economic sustainability. We want to bring experts across the world to sit down to get a look at what are the opportunities, what are the potentials that agriculture has. If agriculture has potentials, can we narrow down to Akwa Ibom? What are the opportunities in Akwa Ibom State? When you look at opportunities, you look at what we call maybe comparative and competitive advantage. If you ask me to produce tomatoes, produce oil palm, produce cassava, I'll look at how much, in terms of investment, the cost of ₦1 in producing that, okay? You know, in international trade, if you realize that the cost of buying is cheaper than producing, what do?
You buy.
You buy. Good. So this program will analyze key opportunities and narrow it down. Key opportunities that we have in agriculture in Akwa Ibom State. Investment windows in Akwa Ibom State. If someone is coming to Akwa Ibom State to invest, which crop should I plant? Number two, we are bringing people to come and develop policy. Just look at new ways of doing things, new approaches, new skill sets. Once you come up with a program as beautiful as a RISE agenda, agriculture number one, rural development, education. The question is, if agriculture is number one and you want people to invest in agriculture, what are the incentives? What are the waivers? What is the government willing to give to people that are coming in to drive investment in that sector? Okay? These are key things. And then there are scenarios across the world. When you want to drive investment in a particular sector as a state, you sit down, ask yourself, we're willing to support people with this. Like the federal government will tell you, if you're importing for agric or you're setting up an agric firm, you have 20 years tax holidays. You won't pay tax. Most of the equipment you're bringing in through an agricultural firm, you have this rebate. Okay? So this program should be able to ask, what are the incentives? Yes, like Erufai said, I want to develop Kaduna. I want people to come to Kaduna to invest. He said, when you come to Kaduna, in 24 hours, we'll give you CFO. That's why you could see Olam and so many other organizations there, because not only developing a program, you were able to put framework in place, policies, incentives and waivers to support people coming in. So this agribusiness roundtable should be able to narrow in on those things. Then number 3, we're partnering also with Akwa Ibom Investment Corporation. You know, that's the agency that we house most of the businesses of the government. It's a global stage for the organization to say, this is why you should be in Akwa Ibom State. Not only that we have security in the state, not only that we have people that are friendly, we have energetic young people that work. These are the opportunities available. It's like a global stage. So that people will begin to key into one or two of them. Someone called me in Kaduna and Kano and said, your team is very apt unlocking agribusiness potential. So we should use it as a global state to market the state. Yes, market Akwa Ibom State, because as people are coming in, they'll eat our food, sleep in our hotels, and find out areas. And you know, with the crisis in Port Harcourt, everybody wants to be in Akwa Ibom State. So the agribusiness is supposed to showcase the state, expand our potentials, showcase businesses around here, and encourage people to come and do business with us.
That's very elaborate, and I'm already glad to hear that there are people that are cashing in on the theme. But 2 questions I'm going to ask out of that is, how interested are our people? Because one thing is for you to spend time, put all of this together, bring stakeholders from international communities and nationwide, then you come to Akwa Ibom. We don't now have, young persons, middle-aged persons, government, largely interested in agribusiness, as it were. So far so good. Conducting feasibility and looking into the state, do you think you have a lot of people interested? And what's the percentile rate for people that are now interested in getting into agribusiness?
I will say a lot. If you were lucky to be at Made in Akwa Ibom State Fair that took place at the Ibom Lake E-Library, you'll be shocked to see the number of people that exhibit their products. In some of them, the packaging was just fine. Few areas, like packaging, and some certifications were missing. We're meaning that we are moving. We may be slow, but we're moving. A lot of people are interested. A lot of people are interested in agriculture. A lot of people are going into it. Yes, a lot of people are going into it.
Okay, so my next question will come to you. From the angle of the trade and commerce industry, we know that funding is a major challenge. And NESAL is currently under heat. The Central Bank of Nigeria is currently under heat because of the lack of funding to people who truly need this funding. So how is your ministry and your collaboration helping people who want to get involved in the agribusiness or those already in existence to advance their businesses?
Okay, thank you so much. I know funding is a major issue, like you've also noted out. Well, you see, we work with a lot of organizations like the Bank of Industry. We work with the Bank of Industry. We work with Ibom Fadama and a lot of them. What we do is, like, when you come with an investment project, we now look at it, see what we can do with it, and if it's something that needs finance, we don't have the finance to give. You understand? We are not, like you said, a ministry. We are not even a ministry. Oyosima is a PPP arrangement.
Okay.
We don't even have finance. What we do, we link you up to where you can get the finance at a subsidized rate. Because the problem we are having now, which we are really looking into, it's the Bank of Industry. The interest rate is too high.
Despite the fact that we now have an office in Akwa Ibom State and the state has provided counterpart funding?
Yes, I'm telling you, because that's what is affecting. Even if you go there to get the loans, it takes there's some stringent measures before you can even get these facilities. That's what we are looking at. That's what we're complaining, because we want them to calm down. You're now in a state. Try and help our people. You didn't come here to just look at the structure or the things. You're coming here to help our people grow. You understand? So there are a lot of these are the bottlenecks we have, and we're trying to see how we can unwind them and make it work well.
So, Coordinator, that's a very serious concern that has been raised. And I know that we're out of time, but I'd just like to ask this last question. The governor is going to be at this event.
Yes.
The Senate president is going to be here. So a lot of other strong movers within the political space, people are capable of making the right laws and taking the right decisions are going to be there. So what has been fashioned out to engage those people and make sure by the end of the round table, we should be able to see a difference in the way of doing things, especially by the financing sector?
Like the basic goal for the round table.
Let me say this. He said something about funding. Funding is not really a difficult issue, but the thing is this. Funding has procedure. I come from a financial background. You say NICEL is giving loan, Bank of Industry is giving loan, Bank of Agriculture is giving loan. They have their procedure. What we need to do is to train our people to be financial conscious. If you're doing a business and you know that definitely you need a loan from the bank, there are a few things you need to do in your business. If the bank does not give you loan, they don't make money. They make money from giving loans. But there are procedures.
No, but can I come in there? When it is with the stringent measures, policies for you to get the loan,
it's not stringent.
It is.
The Bank of Industry will tell you, okay, this is our checklist. Before you qualify for a loan of 10 million naira, you need to do this, you need to do that. The question you need to ask yourself is this: are people prepared to receive funding? I had a program to fund cooperative, but UNIDO will tell you that there are basic minimum standard to fund your cooperative. If you're forming a cooperative and there are this number of people, you should be able to have what we call procurement policy, petty cash policy, to be able to access funding. And our people will just form a cooperative when they say government is giving money. So that culture is not there. Then what we have done in this particular pool, like I said, we're partnering with Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation and a couple of other organizations. We're going to have a communique at the end of this program. We're looking at profiling businesses. We're going to have special teams that look at your product. If you're ready for export, what is the missing link? And we'll profile you. We have a program with the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. We'll profile you. What can we do to support this? If your product needs maybe equipment, the Minister of Niger Delta Development is coming in. If your product needs equipment, what kind of equipment? If your product needs a loan, it's going to be in section during the network session. If your problem is finance, we ask you to meet financial people, the next part that will guide you all through. If you need to speak to one or two persons, we have people that will do all that. So we're hoping to sign an MOUs, off-takers agreement in this particular thing. That's why we're bringing Akisan in the US to come partner with us. Yes, because so that we can have this third-party program that whatever goods we have here that is moved to the US, they can save us, warehouse it, and then sell out.
All right.
So it's a whole lot of things.
So, but is it open to the general public?
It's open to the general public.
Okay. All right then. Well, we have absolutely expended our time. What we can do is to hold a virtual conversation again and build up. I know that the event is between the 27th and the 29th of October, so we still have a few days that we can still have this conversation again. But agribusiness and agribusiness conversation is a must if we want to grow food productivity and sustainability in Nigeria. It's a good one that a conference of this sort is going to be holding here in Akwa Ibom State, and it's important that every Akwa Ibom person and people that can travel in to be a part of the conversation do take advantage. We have promised to return with them for a virtual conversation some other time before the build date of event. Thank you so much for being a part of Bright and Shine, and thank you very much, Mr. Howard Hussein.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Mr. Udo.
Dr. Owen.
Dr. Owen, yes, thank you. And Dr. Howard Hussein. Thank you very much for being a part of the show this morning. We'll call it a wrap. We'll do this some other times. We'll do this tomorrow, same time.